Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pager here, once again with another video on The Flash Season 3. Now this is going to be my review for Episode 7 of The Flash Season 3, otherwise entitled Killer Frost. So obviously before we go ahead, bit of a spoiler warning. If you have not seen the episode, you might want to go watch it before you watch this video, as we're going to go over the major parts of this episode. So this episode has been one which I think a lot of us have been looking forward to. Back to even I think it was before the season even started, I think. As the episode title does basically give away, we continued the story of Caitlin's struggle against her inner Killer Frost, which has been developing over the past few episodes. The opening scene of this episode was absolutely insane, with Savitar manhandling the crap out of Barry. We thought Zoom messed up Barry pretty bad last season, but Savitar took it to another whole new level. And seeing Vibe, Killer Frost, and the Flash all together with powers was pretty damn awesome. H.R. Wells drops the Hindu god of motion in regards to Savitar. Apparently, due to his crossword skills, that's how he knows about it. So they do 100% confirm that the hooded figures are the cult of Savitar. When Caitlin interrogates that dude, which was pretty damn sick. Now beforehand, I don't think we actually had confirmation. We basically knew it was them, but we didn't have verbal confirmation on the show. It was funny seeing H.R. Wells getting the leg up on Cisco by figuring out how to track Caitlin. And it was done the same way that they tracked Captain Cold's cold gun in previous seasons. The altercation between Caitlin and Barry was pretty damn tense, especially when she reveals to Cisco that Barry is essentially the cause of his brother, Dante's death, due to the fact that Dante was alive in the timeline from seasons 1 and 2, but ever since Barry, slightly changed this timeline, now Dante is dead. Which obviously doesn't bode well with the whole Cisco-Barry relationship, does it? Seeing HR and Joe hanging out was pretty funny. Hopefully we do see a lot more of that. They're a bit of a unlikely duo. I will tell you what, it was interesting as hell seeing Caitlin confront that acolyte of Savitar, a dude that was a part of the cult of Savitar. And with him saying that they had seen the future with Caitlin there, she was very powerful, and at that point was Killer Frost. The Iris and Barry or West Allen scene in this episode was great in regards to reassuring Barry that he can't let all this stuff about timeline changes and stuff like that weigh him down. How does he know that all of this is his fault? Yeah, sure, some of it probably is his fault, but Caitlin may have always ended up getting powers in the original timeline. And Dante may have ended up dying. You gotta remember, we haven't come back to a point that we saw in season 2. This is, did they say 6 or 4 or 5 months after what the point that Barry left at the end of season 2 was, but just in this new timeline? So a lot of stuff could have happened. Dante could have actually just ended up dying anyway. Now there was a lot of big reveals in this episode, but one of them had to be that Wally West one where Joe cuts Wally out of his cocoon really early. And he just comes out vibrating and looks like he's just panicking the hell out. So Wally West does now have his speed, which I think a lot of us knew he was going to have. I don't think any of us thought that he might come out of that cocoon and just be normal. So seeing Wally with his speed is pretty damn awesome, but they sort of do hint at when Wally's asking, oh, when can I go out in the streets and fight with Barry? Everyone's a bit hesitant about it. And you gotta remember Wally's on that streak where he does get a bit jealous of Barry. So Barry was allowed to go do Flash things straight away, if you remember when he got his speed initially. So if Wally's kept back all the time, he might get a bit annoyed. So there might be potential trouble in the future with Wally in regards to his speed. The Barry and Caitlin scene where Caitlin just gives up that whole Killer Frost mantle was great. I thought that was awesome. And it was really well done between both of the actors and the characters in general. I thought it was awesome. I must say though, that ultimatum from Julian was a massive dick move. Making Barry quit the CSI just so he won't tell all the officers that Caitlin was the metahuman that attacked him. Obviously over the past few episodes you were led to believe that Julian and Barry, maybe not on the best of terms, but acquaintances, they wouldn't stab each other in the back. But Julian went, you know what, no, screw that. Barry, please leave. And then we had that end scene, which might play into what we just saw with Julian, stabbing Barry in the back a bit. But we find out, which I guess was not the biggest surprise ever, that Julian is in fact Dr. Alchemy. Now we, as the audience, now know that he is Dr. Alchemy, or are led to believe. Like, you never know, there might be some twist where there's like 4 different Dr. Alchemies or something. But at this point, he's Alchemy. Now in episode 9, the unmasking is meant to happen. So a lot of us, I think, even I was on this boat. I thought we were going to see him in episode 9. So I was actually sort of surprised that they did it in this episode. But I think by episode 9, and that being an unmasking, they mean that like Barry and the rest of Team Flash will learn in episode 9 that Julian is in fact Dr. Alchemy. But they might chuck a twist on it and he might not end up being Dr. Alchemy. But yeah, I'm confusing myself by talking at the moment. But obviously, not surprised, he's with Savitar and he's working to bring Savitar back to his true form. And by that, I'm assuming, you know, how everyone can see him. But overall, this episode was awesome. It definitely lived up to the hype. Kevin Smith directed it, who directed an episode last season. I thought he did really well. A lot of reveals, a lot of setup for future things to happen. You got to remember that next episode is the crossover, but they do deal with some stuff. Mainly, I think Wally is the main focus of, like, in the crossover episode. Like, they do usually bring a story over from each episode, from each show, might I say, into their specific episode. And I think the Wally storyline is the specific storyline carried onto the Flash episode. But there was no setup for the crossover like we had on Legends of Tomorrow last week. But then again, the Legends have to travel through time, so you can understand why they set it up last week and there was no setup on Flash. But yeah, this episode was great. As I said, lived up to the hype. I enjoyed the hell out of it. A lot of setup for future storylines and just a lot of awesome scenes in this episode. I am excited to see what happens with Wally. Will he get a suit in the next couple of episodes, or will they wait until like an episode 12 or 13 until he finally gets a suit? We'll have to wait and see. And it will be interesting to see how Cisco and Barry's relationship goes over the next couple of episodes as well. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed not only my video on the episode, but also the episode in general. If you did, it'd be very much appreciated. If you could leave a like on it. Let me know in the comments section below what was your favourite part of the episode, and are you looking forward to the crossover next week? I sure am. Just a heads up, there's no Arrow and no Legends of Tomorrow this week, so this is the last show of this CW universe for the week. And the next episode is obviously going to be Supergirl on Tuesday or Monday, depending on where you live. Also, if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys, and goodbye.